Oh boy.
The one thing everyone was dreading.
Blame Mohit for it. He said,
Why?
we'll see you in the mid-innings.
Hopefully not for rain and bus.
But it is
That is
apocalyptic rain.
I mean, the rain is so much you'd expect to see an old man with a beard building an ark.
Yes, it is absolutely pelting down at the Premadasa Stadium, and we could see those clouds that were there at the far end when the Indian innings was going on. And I think there has been a serious misjudgment from the Sri Lankan ground staff, because they suddenly scrambled to make sure that the entire playing field was covered.
But that's after it's already been pelting.
Afterthought.
Yeah.
Yes, and already you could see that there are puddles already formed on the outfield.
Correct.
And the rain looks like it could settle down for close to 1 hour.
Perhaps has let
Minimum.
up just a little. It has let up. So it was heavy showers just about 10 minutes back. In fact, that good 8-10 minute spell was just so heavy that by then you only saw one part, or let's say the 7-8 strips that were covered. That's it. Yep. But then what has happened in the next 10 minutes, and in totality the whole of 15-17 minutes, is that such heavy downpour, you now see multiple puddles, not just on the area that was covered, but the area which was left uncovered, which is your outfield. There are proper puddles that are formed over there. So not just the super soppers you'll need so much more effort to get that water out.
And this is a storm. This is a thunderstorm. It's not a passing shower. Looking at the trend, I've seen thunderstorms in Colombo. I've seen the
It doesn't look like this ever.
It doesn't look like a passing shower. And I'll tell you why. Why I'm very surprised by the misjudgment of the Sri Lankan ground staff. Okay. Normally, what happens, I've interacted with them on frequent basis during the Nidahas Trophy when there was a rain threat. The first major indication that you get that there is going to be massive rain around the corner, they know it from far. Why? The wind factor. When the wind picks up, at that time the ground staff assemble. They are given the cue that okay, be there on the boundary ropes, assemble as soon as possible, and then drag the covers out to cover the entire field. Even before a drop has been bowled, a drop of rain has hit the ground. Even before that. But this time what has happened, they wanted to ensure that you get as much action as you want. The rain suddenly came without any warning, but there was wind. Yet I am surprised as to why the Sri Lankan ground staff just did not tell the umpires, we have to go. Because
and even now, if you look at it, the visuals we're getting, there are still parts of the ground that they are covering, and it's been raining for about 10-15 minutes. At this point, I don't think it's going to be that easy to, get the ground ready.
The water out.
Either it started raining very heavily at once, or the umpires wanted to get the over first and then
I think that's the plan.
then kind of cover the ground up, because you didn't.
But it was the first ball. How could they finish the entire over? And remember, it's
No,
not
but it is something that umpires look to do.
We've seen it happen. No, but we've seen it happen even recently. Where in the middle of the over, they'll make them go through in the pelting rain.
I'll tell you why I agree with that first point that she made. In Palakele, there was a bit of a drizzle, and that's how you go. Okay, let's try and finish the over.
And that you saw happen earlier in the match.
But
remember when we were getting updates from both Nikhil and Vikrant sir that when Vikrant sir had
heavy
said that you're seeing a drizzle, the play didn't stop then, and this was at the start of the innings, just the second over, if you remember. This time I think they were taken by surprise given the intensity of the rain.
Harshit, you're saying that the rain has let off? No, it's pelting down. Look at the way how the drops on the covers.
Look at the puddles on the covers.
The puddles.
Yeah, exactly.
And remember, in Colombo, what suddenly happened, that's why the weather in Sri Lanka up north is different from the weather that is down south.
Down south, yeah.
In the north, because it's slightly on a higher elevation, the rain will come, it will spit. But this, it will just pour. Now see, one part of the ground is still not yet been covered though. And it is lashing down and looking at the horizon. Normally the first indication of how the horizon will be, if it's lighter, that means the rain is easing. But it doesn't
look positive at all.
And Nikhil
it's
sir
going to
has
be
joined us.
long wait before.
And we have got Nikhil live from the Premadasa Stadium. Nikhil, the visuals paint a grim picture here. How are you feeling it from ground zero? How is the rain, intensity wise?
Okay, lots of updates for you guys. Firstly, it was, in English as they call it, it was absolutely pissing down, which means it was a very heavy rain, very heavy rain that we witnessed. Now the intensity of the rain has reduced to a certain extent. That intensity has come down. Now it's a milder form of rain that is happening, not a drizzle, but slightly more than that. But somehow the ground staff at Colombo haven't been as effective as the ground staff at Palakele. They did try to cover the ground. Even now, they've not been able to cover the ground fully, which has meant two reasons. One, that they weren't as efficient as the ground staff in Panikkale, as I mentioned that, and the intensity of the rain. What that has meant is that the outfield already has rivers flowing. A lot of areas in the outfield, there are rivers flowing there because of the amount of water that came in that short period and that they could not cover the ground. Even now, as I speak, it's been about a good 10 minutes since it's been raining. The full ground hasn't been covered. That wasn't the case in Palikale. They would do it in flat 5-6 minutes. The full ground was covered. It's not happened here at the Premadasa. Okay, so that's the bad news. The good news is that 5 minutes ago, it felt like that the rain is not going to stop. But now as I speak, because I've kind of figured out where the clouds actually come from and where they go. So from the horizon, where the clouds actually, the rain clouds actually come towards from the ocean side, which is to my left, and they come like this. It seemed like a thick cloud cover, and at 1.5 minutes ago, it felt like it's never ending. But right now, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I can see a clear horizon, which means the threatening rain clouds are pretty much are on top of us, but a lot of them have already traveled across and have gone past, and some of it still remain. But within, because the wind is blowing like this, within another 5-10 minutes, the rain will stop. That's what I predict. The rain most likely in the next 5-10 minutes will stop, which is good news. And if they'll wait for some time to ensure that there are no more threatening clouds, and if it feel like that, then they will start removing the covers, which will again then take them 20 minutes. So, and then to dry this up may even take them an hour or so. So these are all rough calculations. So even if the rain stops in the next 10 minutes, which I think it might, you still might have an hour-long delay or slightly more than that before the game starts. So,
you will lose overs.
which means if it goes beyond an hour, 1 hour is buffer, goes beyond the hour, then overs start reducing. So I had one question that in terms of the overs being reduced, do they start happening today, or today they do not do it and they only start reducing it from tomorrow in the reserve day?
No, it will start happening from today itself. So I did a video on the playing conditions for the reserve day and all that. Okay, supposing today, if there is no more rain, all the mop-ups and everything is done. Okay, depending on the number of overs lost. Supposing you've had 35 over match. Okay. Now, if you bowl even one ball or one over after the resumption, but then it rains again and no further play is possible, then what will happen is tomorrow it will continue as a 35 over game. Tomorrow it will be a 35 over game. However, there is a certain caveat. If the overs are reduced, you cannot resume at all today. If you cannot resume today, tomorrow it will be a proper 50 over contest. Tomorrow.
Okay, so just to get you right, if you've announced a reduction of overs, assuming hypothetically it's 35 overs, hypothetically, and even if one ball is bowled, then it remains 35 overs no matter what comes tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if no play is possible from now on, then it remains 50. And if no ball is bowled, even if you've decided 35, but no ball is bowled, it remains 35 the next day, or it still remains 50?
It remains 50.
Okay.
And
So it all depends on more. So that this much I can tell you that in all likelihood, there will be a reduction in the sense, because if I'm correct, if it goes more than 1 hour, as I said, then maybe a few overs would be reduced. It becomes 45, 46, hypothetically. And then I'm sure that they'll come out to play. Then it will remain a 45, 46. If there is no further play, right?
Yep.
But knowing that we have a reserve day, will the umpires or the match referee call for an over reduction?
They will.
Are you sure?
They will.
Yeah.
Because the priority will be to finish it off today.
Yes,
correct.
the priority is to finish it off today. So supposing it's a 45 over game. Okay, another condition in this. Hypothetically, it's a 45 over game. In the second innings,
playing condition पता चल रही है? So no, you guys carry on. I'm just explaining to someone. You guys carry on.
Yeah.
So in the second innings, if you bowl 20 plus overs, even if it's 20 or 20.1, you will not go into the reserve day.
Yeah.
Because it is constituted as a match.
Exactly. In fact, even I'm getting updates from other places. Is that if no more play happens today, then tomorrow the game will continue from this point with no overs lost.
Yeah.
But if a 20 over chase also is possible, then they will try and finish it today.
Exactly.
Okay.
So priority will be to finish it off on the 10th of September itself, not take it into the reserve day, which is the 11th of September, Monday, which was announced just about a couple of days back. So clarification for all of you, if you're thinking that okay, you got a reserve day and probably this action or the match could spill over into the reserve day, that only happens, it is only going to happen if at all there is no resumption of play that happens from this point on. However, even if there is by the cutoff time, which I think is 10:27 p.m.
10:30,
If you aren't looking at even a scenario wherein you can have a 20 over showdown between the two sides,
then it resumes.
then you will have the full game resume from this point, from the time that is 24.1.
In fact, I'll give you one better. Today, if the rain actually doesn't subside now, but you can get a 20 over chase in, India's target could be 181. So it's basically, Pakistan's target will be 181.
Adjusted it.
They'll adjust the DLS adjusted 20 over will be 181, which basically
that would
so again, let me just clarify what all has been spoken simply.
So Nikhil, we just since you're back with us, we're just talking about what perhaps could be the playing conditions like. Let's say for Pakistan, just discussing the scenario wherein if you have play resume at the very last moment possible today, and if you are looking at a 20 over showdown, which is something that the umpires could look at as the bare minimum today, given that rain stops and you got a dry field, then the DLS score for Pakistan to chase in 20 overs will be 181.
For 20 overs, I thought in 20 overs, if I'm not mistaken, 20 overs is 206. 206 if Pakistan get that. I could be wrong, I don't know. But I did read somewhere that it was 206. Anyway, I'll try and get a confirmation on that.
Source was 181.
But even your number.
Which source is that? Which source is that? Is that from Twitter? Which source is that?
No. It's a
much
website.
reliable one.
No.
The reliable source will be
from a website.
Yes.
From a website.
Yes.
Okay. Can I request you guys to do one thing? If possible, because you guys, my phone is being used here. If one of you guys go to X, which is a new platform, and go to someone who's called the Sachin Tendulkar of statistics. I didn't call him that. Sunil Gavaskar calls him that. Maybe Siddharth would know who I'm talking about. And check his Twitter and tell me what is it that he's. Does Siddharth know who I'm talking about?
No,
No, I don't know.
We'll need more hints.
Okay. His name is Mohandas Menon. Okay, so please check Mohandas.
Mr. Menon.
I'll check.
Mohandas Menon. Yeah. I'm sure he would have put a tweet by now as to what the total is going to be like.
But
so, by the way, I must tell you that even now.
He says 206. He says 206, Nikhil.
No, but that's in 24 overs. That's the thing.
So, Nikhil, are the
24.
covers being removed? Is there some activity that are they removing some covers? Or is the rain?
No, they have not been able to put the full covers. The rain hasn't stopped. The full cover, the ground is not being covered fully, even now.
Yeah. You can see
Yes,
the cover
yes.
Damn.
Yes.
That
Now, in
was a
fact, the
shocker,
last
no?
bit,
Because-
the last patch that was not covered has now been covered. The last patch. So
because-
now, as we speak, the full ground is covered.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Nikhil. Just day before yesterday, when you sent across that match report as well, that ground report, in fact, that you filed, as a precautionary measure after Team India were done with their practice, the entire ground was covered. The entire ground was covered that day, right?
Yes. They always do that.
Exactly.
At
But
the end
today-
of the day, they do.
So is today just a case of the groundsman and the officials over there just being caught off guard in terms of their prep, in terms of anticipating the rain?
No, actually not. So I must tell you that this is something that I mentioned. Vikrant was sitting next to me, and I told him that I saw the ground staff come out. I was seeing the clouds build up, but the clouds had been coming and going. But I saw the ground staff starting to get ready and assemble around the periphery of the boundary. And I told him that rain is coming because nobody knows these local conditions as good as the ground staff. So, and bang on, right? That particular cloud, somehow they know that was going to be a rain-bearing cloud. So they all assembled in the periphery, and on cue, that's when we got the rain. On cue, it started raining pretty heavily. So the ground staff was ready. I think two things. One, the intensity of the rain was immense. It was immense as in, when those occasions where the roof feels like there's it'll fall off with the intensity and the noise that the rain makes. That's the kind of noise we experienced inside the press box. That's how intense it was. So it was absolutely pissing down here.
Yep.
So that actually hampered them. And I thought that for some reason, not for some reason, I think the number of ground staff here in Premadasa is less than that in Palakele. So if I was to take a rough estimate, there should be about 50 people, between 40 to 50 here in Premadasa. And if I'm not mistaken, Palakele was double of that.
That's it.
Which is why they could cover it much quicker. These guys could not. I think they tried their best. They preempted the rain as well, but the intensity was so much. And by the time they could go and put the covers from all across, it has seeped in a lot, which wasn't happening in Palakele. Palakele, the covers would come on so quickly that there would be no rain that would go underneath. So which is why as soon as you would remove the covers, you could start. Here, that's not the case. As soon as they remove the covers, they will have to spend a good hour drying the thing. They've got the latest technology like super soppers and so on and so forth. They will do that, but it will take an hour to dry it. So, which is why I'm saying that while it's drizzling right now and the clouds have kind of cleared, and now I do see the clear thing, the rain might stop anytime soon. As I said, 10 minutes or so, the rain might stop. But from there on, it will take about an hour, or maybe more than an hour, for the ground to clear up.
Yep, it all depends on how the ground staff managed to clear up the wet outfield. Because remember, upgradation of stadium and everything was done in the World Cup period of 2011. But then what happened was that in the past, Ketarama, even if there was one patch, it never dried that soon. Now, even now with the upgradation, that's why they cover the whole ground, because it takes time for the Ketarama to clear up in the outfield in that sense.
Yeah, and when we were looking at those visuals, I could see a big patch that was already a puddle.
There were several, in fact.
Yeah.
I think the one that you're talking about is
Actually, what you guys can do is just go to my Twitter handle. I put a picture there. Just go to my. You'll see that picture. I've taken a close up.
We'll bring that picture up as well. There's one that we have for viewers already as we speak, but we'll get that picture as well, so that
no, because that's a long shot. What you've put right now is a long shot. Just check that picture. It's a closer.
We're getting the other one as well.
Exactly. This is the patch I was talking about.
Correct me, Nikhil. Is this, let's say, the long on patch? Is this where you have long on? Looks like that.
Yeah, it'll be third man at some point and long on at other points. Yeah,
and it's
so it's one side. It's right above. It's right where the press box is.
Yes.
Right above that, and that's actually the picture that I could take. So that's how much water that I've just put on Twitter. That's the picture where how much water has seeped in already before they could even put that thing. And there's a similar patch like this on the other side. So there are two rivers effectively at Premadasa by the time they covered it. So once they remove it, as I said, it will take some time. It will take a lot of time for it to clear. Right now, the rain has really reduced. It's now a slight drizzle. It's now reached a level which is called a slight drizzle, which means it's clearing up, which means maybe another 5-7 minutes or so it will stop.
And this patch is also very weirdly shaped. I'm guessing this would be where the slope is predominant. That's why all the water is going over there.
Yeah.
Nikhil, any idea though about the count? Let's say if you've got the time to be able to spot, let's say, the number of super soppers that they are there, couple of them perhaps.
Yeah, two. At least I've seen last couple of days I was here. I saw 2 super soppers at least. So they will have those 2 working hard at work. And that does a job pretty quickly. But I think apart from the two super soapers, they're going to have a few traditional techniques also that they use. So they'll try and use all of that and sort things out.
You'll have to use mops.
Do we expect?
Yeah, they will use the mops. There are two things. There are two things that they will definitely use. Mops will be used, and that famous rope that you know.
Yeah.
You know, those are the two things that they'll do.
How about the iron, Nikhil?
Or hair dryers.
Iron was a subject of intense debate very recently between India and Pakistan. You remember the floodlights just went in Pakistan, and I saw a lot of Indian fans trolling Pakistan, saying, "Arey, light chala gaya. You guys don't even have light, and you wanted to organize Asia Cup." Then I saw certain Pakistani handles put pictures of Indian grounds where they were using those irons, those irons to dry out. So. Ooh, am I seeing a cover being removed? Just hold on with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me.
Sure.
Bear with me. No. They are removing a cover, but I don't think they're removing it to permanently remove it. I think they are just tidying it up because the certain covers below which may have crumpled through which the water comes off. Yeah, getting the water from main area off towards the side. From top of the cover, they're doing it. So no chance of it being removed now because the drizzle is still there. So with the drizzle, there's no chance you can remove the cover. So yeah.
Yeah, but actually, if you are talking about that patch that Nikhil has pointed out, it is towards the Ketarama end, and their drying off takes a lot longer. That's the problem because there the coverage of sand. It's a sand-based thing, down. So that's why it takes far longer to dry. That's the problem because the intensity was such, and just 50 ground staff at the Premadasa. Very surprising decision by the SLC. Normally, most of your staff, the ground staff that is there, the system in Colombo is such, where ground staff, if need be, if there is a shortage, they can get it from the PSS and even from the SSC also. In order to make up, if there is a shortfall in Premadasa, they can call from the SSC, CCC and also the PSS. I don't know why they didn't do it in this case.
Let me not jinx it, but I think they still have time, right? Because you still have a few hours in this game.
No, it's gone.
But that's not to say I'm looking forward to more rain interruptions.
No, because see, this kind of rain, it kind of irritatingly persists in Colombo. That is the problem. That's the situation. It'll be light now, but then that first initial 20-25 minutes, it will be bad. It's really bad. And towards the evening, it's predicted a lot more. It might increase in intensity also in the next
Nikhil, are you still with us?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I remember you were filling us in the other day about all the banter that was on in that India-Pakistan innings, of course, when those Indian wickets fell, and there was a lot of chatter in the press box. Today we saw contrasting sort of fortunes for Team India. What was the banter like today? What was the chatter in the press box? If you can bring us up to speed with that.
Fantastic question because I really wanted to talk about that. Today, a lot of those guys trolling the Indian batters have disappeared. They ran away from the press box. I went looking for them actually. They have disappeared. They have all disappeared. They were there at the start. In fact, I told Vikrant, let's go and let's start a discussion loudly, saying that, because the discussion that time was when India lost the tower. 200, I thought 200 is the best. Somebody is saying, no, 200 is too much for them. I don't think they can. So today I thought we'll go there and start talking loudly amongst ourselves. Anything less than 400, anything less than 400 would be bad. I think 400 should be the minimum they should look at. Then he'll say, no, 400, but no point getting 400 because their batting can't even chase 200. So why even look at 400? So we had planned the whole thing. But by the time we went there, they had disappeared. So that did not happen. It's all gone very quiet. I mean, it's by the way, in terms of cricketing, spectacle, it's been outstanding. Good batting from the two batters. The only thing I'm pretty upset about is it's not a packed house. Seldom do you see India-Pakistan games with such empty stands, but I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that rain was predicted, and so that's why people didn't turn up, especially after what happened in that earlier game in Palakele. I think people are a bit wary, but a lot of them are expected to come for the final if India-Pakistan were to make the final. So a lot of people then would have come in, but very disappointed with the turnout. If you saw my live at the start of the inning, you must have realized that not as many fans as we've gotten so accustomed to seeing turned up for the game. I did speak to a few in the live that I did on Sports Today, but not as many as I expected. And it's a pity because it's been a good batting display that we have seen from the Indian batters, Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, both in particular, both contrasting styles. It was good to see that sort of an approach from Rohit, and I think that's the best kind of approach suited for him because if he spends time, he'll get you runs, as he covered up later. Shubman, on the other hand, played his natural game, some fine shots that he played. But both of them, it was 100 for the taking. I'm sure they'd be disappointed, didn't get that 100. It was 100 for the taking. It was a bit of a precarious situation. It could have been a collapse, but good on Virat and Rahul to have steadied the innings. I know that right now their strike rate will be below 100, but don't look at it like that right now. Because if you have a 50-over game, which now, most likely you will not because the rain has stopped as I speak, and then you have a shortened game. But otherwise, it did feel like that, the Indian team could have reached 350 even after those 2 wickets falling because you're not even at halfway stage, you're at 150. And, usually 30 overs, you end up doubling the score. So 350 would have been for the taking easily for them, but it stopped now. So it was fine. Consolidating act was good. Good to see KL Rahul spend some time. Is it 2 boundaries, 17? We're all eager to see how he performs. So he's showing that, he's up for the task. He's come back after the injury and ready to, play at the highest level. So all of that put into place. It would have been a fantastic inning, a 300 plus 320, 330 sort of an inning had we not had any interruption. But now surely the overs would have been reduced. So they'll have to change their gears because then they may not start looking at 50. Maybe now start looking at 35, 40, whatever is decided at the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, see, the problem in Sri Lanka has been that no one's addressed that particular situation. Fan attendances have been tumbling downwards for ages now in Sri Lanka.
Is that something to do with even the ticket prices? Because
Yeah,
I've heard
because-
people
yeah,
on
of course.
social media complain that the ticket prices are slightly on the higher side.
See, for all these kind of matches, India, Pakistan and everything, the ticket prices are high. Let's make no doubt.
there a-
But I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing about that. I'll tell you one thing, which is fair. I think Shane makes a valid point about the ticket pricing are very, very expensive. So I understand that neutrals aren't coming in, right? So, and the economy, Sri Lanka is just recovering from that economy and the prices are very high. So they can't afford. But for an India-Pakistan game, majority of the fans are not going to be, you're not really relying on neutral fans, the local fans to come in and fill in. So the problem of Sri Lanka not having big crowds, I understand, but that should not impact this game because for India-Pakistan game, it's predominantly Indians and Pakistanis traveling from their country or from the UK or the US or Australia, all Indian Pakistani coming to watch the game, which is not happening, which you saw more of in Palakile. You're not seeing it here. So, which is the surprising thing. I think the trend about Sri Lanka not selling tickets does not imply here because that is more specific to the Sri Lankan people. By the way, the game against Sri Lanka, Bangladesh saw far more many people than we're seeing for India, Pakistan today. But because the local people did turn up to support Sri Lanka.
And again, see, the trend is, even in the Nidahas Trophy, what happened, the last major event that they had almost. India games and even Sri Lanka games, the national games, got about 10-12,000. That's it. But all the other local games there, because the ticket rates are low, they got about 30-40,000. Local school games, I'm telling you. So the trend of international cricket, and also because Sri Lanka has not been doing well for so many years. That is one contributor that I just don't want to. I mean, look at Test cricket in Sri Lanka. Apart from certain patches in Galle, Colombo, you will see empty grass banks and empty stadiums. Ever since they have gotten Test status, barring 1 or 2 games at max, they have not been able to sell Test cricket in Sri Lanka effectively. Either because prices are high. I mean, I remember Sri Lanka's one very prominent story in 1982. Historic moment for them. First ever new entrant into the Test match fold against England. But half of the crowds could not go because the price of a ticket in Sri Lanka at that time was equivalent to 2 weeks' salary of a clerk.
Exactly.
It was that expensive.
Yeah.
So that is why Sri Lanka's poor show means that you are not going to get many audiences. Plus, some ticket rates are high. And also, if I may add from Nikhil's point, the scheduling chaos, Hambantota or Palakele or Colombo, where it was going to be. Last moment you found out it was Colombo. So, change of plans, people would have gotten really distracted with that entire thing. So I think that's also the reason why they're not come.
And maybe just to add to all of that, perhaps, you know, the locals over there very much knew that you're having cricket at a time when it usually paused. Maybe they actually didn't want to bet their money on such games.
No, not true. Not true. See,
But would it not be true for Palakele and Colombo? Again, this is not, you know, non-seasonal rain that you see.
hosted 2 ICC events in Sri Lanka in September.
And you did the story the other day, no? Both of them were affected.
But
so the
still-
local crowds would have taken a lesson from that, right?
But
Yeah,
at that
maybe.
time, Sri Lanka's matches, they would run to packed houses. At that time in 2012, you look at the crowds that assembled in Palakele. Huge. Look at the contest that Sri Lanka had against Pakistan and West Indies at the Premadasa. Packed. Because it was held in September, some games were impacted. The neutral games did not garner that much of audiences at all. Even an India game, by the way, except for India-Australia, the rest of the India games did not get that much of crowds. India-Australia was the big ticket one. But Sri Lanka's games, the last major big attendance that you saw for any major white ball tournament in Sri Lanka was 2012, the World T20. You had packed houses at the Ketarama. Otherwise, hardly any.
But Nikhil, coming back to you, any activity that you sense around, anything that you can witness and something that you can update us about?
No, they're just still doing their regular work. The stadium is completely covered. They're doing their regular work of removing the water from over the covers. But they're not going to be removing the covers anytime soon, because right now also it's kind of stopped, but as it's not completely stopped. You know, that slight drizzle, very slight drizzle, just like in Hindi we call it, what is that? Bunda Bandi. That sort of a thing is happening.
Pitta-patta.
So till that stops completely, they're not going to remove the cover, but they've already started doing the other thing, which is to remove the heavy amount of water that had accumulated over the cover. They're doing that as of now, the council.
Exactly. This will take time because it was a very sharp burst of rain. I mean, the intensity even took the Sri Lankan ground staff by
Exactly.
surprise.
Correct.
I really am surprised by that. I mean, that shows climate change, global warming is real, my friends. The one nation that prides itself in ensuring that their outfields and their way of covering the ground is top notch, they have kind of been taken off guard this time. Really, I mean, I was really surprised with the way how they were scrambling towards the end. I'd never expected that from I would be saying this for the Sri Lankan ground stuff. I really didn't. So yeah, there is, as Nikhil pointed out, frantic activity going on. The excess waters that have been accumulated in the covers, that's been removed. That will save time. But after you remove the covers, the real problem starts with the outfield. Because there are patches. There will be wet patches.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
1 hour 10 minutes, that's the buffer, because you can even reduce the innings break and all these by 10 minutes. So 1 hour 10 minutes later you can start losing overs.
You've already lost about 40 minutes of play if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah.
It's 40 minutes?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Is
yeah.
it?
That's what we have to check. 40 minutes I think we have already lost. When was the rain delay?
Let me
if you could just-
check.
I don't think. Almost 40 minutes then.
Well, the drizzle, the first alert we got was about around 4:53 p.m., which means you've lost 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
40
We have lost 40
minutes, yeah.
minutes so far. That's the problem. So another 30 minutes.
And
that's
you're
the
losing
grace
And
overs.
period,
we'll start
then you'll
losing overs.
overs.
Yep.
That's the situation, and I think we are in for a long delay because they'll have to clear the outfield. That outfield is a major problem.
Well, I do get a feeling that you will have a result and a winner by the end of the night. Or
We hope so.
maybe the wee hours of a Monday. But
Well, see, because
Let's not.
look, if the game is shortened, and supposing you bowl even one ball or even two balls, after the rain comes, if it stops, you get no further play. If whatever reduction is there, suppose it's a 30 or 40 over game, whatever reduction was there, it will resume tomorrow from that particular point, it will be a 30 over game. Hypothetically, I'm saying.
so you're saying if play resumes but stops again,
Yeah.
you will go by the condition on which play resumes, which is a 35 or a 40
Yeah.
over match.
Yep.
That's assuming even one ball is bowled.
Assuming even one.
If one ball is also not possible, they have all come.
but then a
covers
50 over match.
It will be a 50 over.
Someone in the comments is suggesting don't give a lunch break only.
Yeah, they're
You
players,
can't do
come
that.
on, come
No,
on.
then they won't reduce it in like that's normally what they do. The innings break, what they do is they'll reduce it.
20
It won't,
20
It's
minutes.
not like they'll say no break at all, boys. Sorry, out you go there, chappies.
Exactly, yeah.
Nothing
They're
to do
human
there.
beings, yeah. They're not machines. What the hell, yeah. That's the way you have to. It's a very sad situation. I mean, we knew that the rain would come on 10th. Even on 11th, by the way, the weather is filthy. Because it's 95% chances of rain.
Should we already start looking for the 17th of this month and let's say the 14th of the next month?
I'm not even going there. I'm not even going there. But then Nikhil, I mean, okay, I think Nikhil is so busy at this time. I'm just wondering if the broadcasters had 2 days to figure out, okay? Nikhil, I just wanted to ask this question to you. Looking at the way how the weather trends have been, basically it's been raining around evening time, isn't it? In Colombo, basically around the evening, late evening type.
No. Last 2 days it did not rain at all. Zilch, zero.
Even when you came
Negligible.
the first 2 days.
Morning even. When I came to Colombo, it was raining. The first 2 days it was raining 20 hours a day from 24. So there was no morning or evening. It was raining 20 hours.
Only rain.
Last 3 days it's not rained at all.
Yep.
Zero rain. So there is no way of guessing evening, morning, nothing.
And it
It's
had to
been very
happen over the
unpredictable.
Pakistan match. Excellent. The rain gods, thank you, rain gods. You really know how to time your moment. They know the best moment when to rain down, and it is in India. Because I was just thinking, looking at the weather patterns were so fickle. Could the broadcasters have had an arrangement wherein you could have played the games in the morning?
drops there. Broadcasters could have done what? Sorry for that.
Play the games in the morning period, knowing that the chances of impacting would have been a bit less.
No. There's no fixed pattern. That's what I'm saying, Siddharth. No fixed pattern. Whether it's morning or night. Yes. There's no fixed pattern as such. Whether it is morning rain up. There's no way of guessing. Anything could have backfired. So I think this is that. Also, you got to look at prime time. Yeah. There's no way they're gonna have a day game. Got to look at prime time, and the weather condition during the day is so hot, so humid.
Yeah.
To play a full 100-over match in those conditions is tough. Maybe 50 overs, one way 50 overs and under the lights could have been slightly easier on the players. So all of that put together, I think no, that couldn't have
They
changed.
should actually, looking at Nikhil's suggestion, I know it's hot and humid. Test matches, if you want to revive in Sri Lanka, play with pink ball. Simple.
Day
Play
and
with
night.
the pink ball.
Day and night.
Day and night.
We're worried about India, Pakistan, and he's worried about reviving Test cricket in Sri Lanka. Love his
For me, it's always Sri Lanka, bro. That stands out. It's always India, Pakistan is just a sideshow. Where it's happening. It's happening in Colombo. It's happening in Sri Lanka. It's not part of India. It's not part of Pakistan. It's not anything. It's in Sri Lanka. That's why that is my major concern. That you have to ensure your hosts and all the conditions there are in a much better shape. Because remember, for all these kind of rain delays, you'll have a lot of comments saying, "Oh, why did you host it in Sri Lanka? Oh,
Which
why?"
is a
did
valid
you-"
point. Why did you host it in Sri Lanka?
But then what was the other choice?
Those are valid questions, by the way.
No, it's not valid.
Of course it is. You
Sri
yourself
Lanka-
are asking it 2 days back. What are
Sri
you
Lanka
saying?
were put into the chopping board because you knew in September that you'd get maximum rain.
Yeah, so Sri Lanka accepted, and I understand them
Did
accepting.
they have any other option?
No. They didn't have an option simply because right now the financial situation, not just of the board, but of the country is so poor. I'm just
Which
saying
is
it
what
was
I
a
said.
no-win
That one
situation.
particular quote which you're asking me that I was advocating it. But then, what is the caveat?
But they were clutching on straws. Yeah.
There is
They
a
would take
four-letter. There are 4 words to describe Sri Lanka's current situation.
Can't be choosers.
Yep. They can't be choosers.
Yeah.
Whatever comes your way, please take it. You have no other option but to take it, and you'll get panned. Whatever is the situation. Rain,
I don't think anyone's panning Sri Lanka, by the way.
weather.
No, weather is fine. You can't help the weather. The criticism is leveled
towards
elsewhere.
ACC.
Correct.
Yeah.
The criticism is more
And the
Exactly.
BCCI.
And then ego tussle. Ego tussle. That is the problem.
और मारा कौन क्या?
बेचारा तीसरा
The
मारा
game.
गया.
The game. What is suffering? The
The
sport.
game.
Yep. The,
And the Asia Cup.
The worst thing is, see, everybody knew of the weather in Sri Lanka. I mean, the weather trends were bucked for 3 days. When it was very bad rain in Colombo for 3 days, nothing happened.
Correct.
We're all thinking, wow, excellent. But then I was giving a slight caution. Towards the evening time, it could rain. And it has rained. And that too, first 15-20 minutes with such intensity that you're in for a long delay, my friends. You're in for a long delay, and because Sri Lanka's ground staff had to choose this particular game
to be slow.
I know. I mean, I'm really gobsmacked. How could the groundsman have not known?
No, but to be fair, I think they did know.
Yeah.
I think they were instructed not to run on. Because that's the thing.
Exactly.
They knew, they were prepared, and we saw it on TV also. We're like, oh no. But they bowled one ball, and then you're thinking, maybe not. But no, they were spot on.
And also the fact that it started raining so heavily in seconds, I think that also affected it, because if it was a drizzle and the match was stopped, you'd have time to come in and get the covers on. But then it was such a heavy downpour.
I mean, I remember in Brisbane, I mean, if you want a similar kind of an intensity, Brisbane has that kind of intensity of rain. I mean, it will absolutely pour. In a game between Australia and New Zealand, 1987, I remember this very, very clearly. New Zealand were batting and the Australians were bowling. I mean, and Richard Hadley just hit a single to long off. But there were dark clouds, similar to how it had built up in Colombo. Okay. Suddenly, Kevin Mitchell, the one of the chief grounds people at the Gabba, he suddenly runs onto the pitch. He tells the umpires, "Boss, you have to go." The umpire saying, "But why? There is still time. The clouds are at a distance." No, go off now. Otherwise, you are going to have a long delay. So Kevin Mitchell told the umpires, "Please leave. I have to cover the ground." He says, "You're thinking the clouds are far. I'll come in 5 minutes." The umpires deliberated. Okay, we are going off. 5 minutes later, right on cue, Kevin Mitchell was spot on. The rain was absolutely lashing down.
Who exactly was Kevin Mitchell?
Kevin Mitchell is the curator at the Gabba. So he got everybody off. He covered the field. He covered the pitch. That kind of a rain, many people were saying, it could have washed out the game.
Yeah.
But because of Kevin Mitchell's action, not a single over was reduced. And the game continued.
Quick update for all of you who are possibly wondering what the DLS score for Pakistan could be like. Of course, you're looking at that situation, only and only there is significant amount of loss in terms of overs and India don't come out to bat. So I'll just quickly tell you, if it is a 24 over game, and we'll come down as far as the number of overs are concerned. 24 over game, you're looking at 206 being the score for Pakistan, target for Pakistan. 23 over game, 200 they will have to chase. 22 overs, then it will be 194. 21 overs, 187. 20 overs, then you're looking at 181.
So in essence, they're going to have to play, if assuming
play out
this
the
over.
skins.
Yeah, it's basically T20 game, then.
Yeah.
Yep.
But even with 20 overs, 180, right?
Yeah, that's a 100.
181, yeah.
Because remember, if it's a 20 or a 23 over game, India's innings is over. Pakistan will have to start from scratch, like how they after the rain resumption.
Yeah.
But again, remember, 1 hour 10 minutes is the buffer. After that, say 4:53, right? The first
4:53 was around the time. So
That's the time it started raining.
that means let's assume 6 onwards you will start losing overs.
And now we've almost lost an hour.
You're 15 more minutes and you start losing
to lose
overs.
overs now.
Exactly.
The other thing being, if it is to be the case, let's say where India don't bat furthermore and you only, let's say if it comes down to a 20 over
it's advantage India.
showdown.
Advantage
But again,
India.
one answer will not be given by the end of it. Regardless. Exactly. Can Bumrah still bowl 10 overs for you?
He'll only bowl 4 then.
He has
Exactly.
a chance. He has a chance day after tomorrow. If it doesn't go into the reserve day. Sri Lanka.
But again, you're looking for answers to come against a team like Pakistan. Again, no disrespect to the opponent India are going to be playing in 2 days' time.
Thank you. Yeah.
Exactly. But when you're looking for answers, why do you need it? Why did you need KL Rahul to bat today? Because you need that answer to come against an opponent like Pakistan. You're preparing for the World Cup, remember. So everything happening at the moment has to happen with an eye on the World Cup.
See, you will get answers against opponents. Why not against Sri Lanka? Why can't we keep that? Why it has to be against Pakistan? We know Pakistan. They
Are Sri Lanka in your top 4?
No,
World
they
Cup?
aren't.
Simple as
but
that.
no. Again, Sri Lanka can cause an upset.
That's fine. I'm saying, are they your top 4? When you're looking at the top 4 for World
No.
Cup, are
I'm
you looking at
this tournament.
What's a stumbling block for you? Sri Lanka or Pakistan?
Both.
To be fair, we said that last time and Sri Lanka stumbled you.
20 overs.
It doesn't
20
matter.
overs.
I mean, see, if you look at it, Sri Lanka, if you look at, exclude the ODI, the T20I, they are a 5-time ODI Asia Cup champions.
That's true, but...
So, in the context of this tournament, even if they do well against Sri Lanka, I would have gotten answers.
By the way, interesting trivia for everyone. I'm guessing you guys would know this. But there's never been in the history of the competition an India-Pakistan final.
Yeah,
Never.
It's never been there.
Asia Cup?
Yes.
Never ever.
Never in the history.
That sounds so unbelievable, doesn't
It's
it?
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't have an India-Pakistan ICC final for
Another
40
question for
years.
you guys, let's say, and we'd love to hear it from you guys in the comments. So you know, of course, the teams that are participating and the others which aren't participating, let's say, in this particular edition. Which team has made the most appearances when it comes to the Asia Cup? Love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let's see. You know the answer. Yeah, we've talked about it.
We just talked about the team a couple of minutes ago.
Perhaps that's a big enough hint anyhow if you've been following the chat. But just to, okay, Dex has been after our lives to take one of his comments. What's he saying?
What is
He
the
has-
comment? I mean, Dex
We'll
is
have to
gone.
scroll up.
Scroll up, yeah.
No, I don't recall seeing.
No, I saw plenty of comments, but
Yeah, but what is Dex? He had a lot of comments.
Yeah.
I think he asked me
बहुत ऊपर
about
जाना
two particular
पड़ेगा.
players. Richard Levy, yes, Dex, I remember Richard Levy. He was a leg side bully. If you bowled him to the offside, he was gone. Marchand Delang, I mean,
Marshall Delang he's asked about before. I remember him. Ex-KKR.
ex-KKR and quite a good bowler. But was wayward. Injury prone.
And injuries.
And Dex, why doesn't Sri Lanka have hover covers? Why would you need a hover cover? I mean, you're covering the entire ground, it solves the entire purpose. England just cover the entire pitch, but yet they have problems.
Yeah.
In fact, it's so bad that the likes of Broad and all have said that we should be covering
They were
the
the
ground.
one wanting the entire ground to be covered in the
Exactly.
Ashes which recently concluded.
Someone in the comments is asking if you're Sri Lankan.
He is not.
I am not Sri Lankan, but
An
I
advocate.
I
Sri
admire and
Lankan-
appreciate Sri Lanka a lot more.
Sri Lankan advocate.
I mean, it's a nation that has had to go through a lot of turmoil, especially from cricket acceptance also. And in that, I would like to thank India and Pakistan because they were the ones who had really advocated for Sri Lanka's push in the international arena. And see, among all the Asian nations in the 90s growing up, I found Sri Lanka played a cricket which was far ahead.
So, by the way, guys, not such a happy update, and this is not cricket though. Kings Cup is on. India are trailing to Lebanon.
Oh dear.
2-0.
1-0.
1-0.
1-0. So it doesn't look like they're getting even a fourth place finish.
Okay.
Third place, sorry.
Third place.
Anyway, so then another comment, Akash Vardhan saying, I think India needs a full game because to reach final, India needs to win. That's correct. Not a full game, but you need to play a game with even the bare minimum number of overs. Because if it rains out, then you're on that 1 point.
Yeah.
Which is, it really leaves you neither here nor there.
But you've got a reserve day.
Even if the reserve day rain forecast isn't much better.
It's
Reserve
not
day,
bad. It's not good even for the reserve day. So
May as well play in the indoor nets only.
play at the NCC.
Venkatesh Prasad's wish coming true.
It might very well. It might because see, I find it simple enough. It is very, very unfair.
Yeah.
Very unfair. I mean, there cannot be any kind of justification for this because keep it for all the other teams as well. What wrong did Sri Lanka do? What
the
wrong did
defending
Bangladesh
champions,
do?
huh?
Yeah. I mean, okay, Bangladesh now have no cause for complaint because they're only mathematically alike.
And mathematically also like the longest of long shots.
Longest of long shots. If Sri Lanka wins against Pakistan and also because they had one reserve day to finish this, what wrong did they do? They might very well not make the final because of this.
In fact, we'll take one more comment, and truth be told, we've been going on a while, and we have no concrete updates yet, unfortunately. So we'll take one more comment, one from Pavan Venkat, where he says, it might just be difficult to bat once the game starts because there's going to be moisture underneath. That's true. And that's why, by the way, if I'm Pakistan, I'm really hoping that India get to resume batting, because if Pakistan have to bat like that and say 20 overs or whatever, 21, 22, whatever amount of overs, you're going to be playing T20 mode on a very tricky wicket.
No, already by this rain delay, if it's more than, if you've lost more about 35 or 40 overs, if it's less than 40, then I think it's advantage India.
Yeah.
It is advantage India because Pakistan's ODI batting template
It's stuck in the 90s.
is stuck in the 90s.
And thank God for those knocks by Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill.
Now we will appreciate their knocks a lot more. Because the way how Shubman was batting, he was, I mean, I think Rohit Sharma, I think I read somewhere a graphic, I might be wrong. Out of his first 25 balls, Rohit played 23 dots.
He was very, very tentative.
He was 18 of 30.
That one over from Shadab changed
Shadab
everything.
Khan turned it around and he was runnable after that. Then
Because
suddenly he was 40 or 40.
Because at one point I remember Naseem had pegged back nicely
Yeah.
because Naseem was constantly
Exactly.
getting that swinger.
Yes, I mean,
Taking it
Naseem-
out, yeah.
I think among all, I think, see, more than Haris, more than Shaheen,
Naseem has been their best performer.
I think in the future also I'd look at it. All the attention should be on Naseem Shah.
Naseem Shah, and I'm waiting for the emergence of the other one also, Wasim
Mohammad
Jr.
Wasim Jr.
Another very dangerous
Yes,
operator.
I mean-
It's testament to just how good their bench strength is that guy can be a fourth choice option.
Yeah.
But I think you could have either gone with
You know-
Mohammad Wasim Jr., but I think Fahim's batting game.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah. The Shardul Thakur effect.
Yeah, which is bad, which is sad. I mean, you have to copy all the other teams. I mean, look at Australia's performance yesterday. I mean, they just seem to be stuck in one.
No, but to be
pillar.
fair, those pitches are also absolute belters.
Yeah, they are.
Bloemfontein was giving the kind of pitch where even our batters would be scoring at similar
But
rates.
remember, same venue but different strips. That first match played at the same venue, but it was 220,
Exactly.
and you struggled to chase it down. So, if you look at preparation, I think South Africa is offering you all the different variations. Slow
Play
turner,
whatever.
play in that way. Flat deck, go bang bang. But see, look at how England and Australia are playing, and if I may add, even New Zealand in the first ODI.
No, correct.
Conway and Mitchell really ensure.
And that's why I remember people say, oh, New Zealand, nothing. I'm like, never write off New Zealand in a,
No, but their bowling is a problem.
no problem.
Rachin Ravindra helped you escape, but then apart from that, I don't see.
See, I think Santner will be your key.
Santner will be the key.
Santner will be very key, and same with Ish Sodhi for that matter. Otherwise, your pacers, Bolt, you're going to have to rely on because
Saudi.
Bolt. Saudi in ODIs would be far more effective than in T20s.
Ferguson, Henry.
Lucky. They actually do have good bowlers. I think no one's in form yet.
That's
and
the
I don't forget, Bolt, I don't think would be available for this series.
He is.
He is.
He's
Yeah.
back full scale. He and Ben Stokes
Exactly.
are back.
No, I know, but with Trent, he's not signed a full-time
No,
contract still.
no.
He's
Not
still,
needed. He had stated with the thing that if in New Zealand cricket needs me, I will be available.
So good.
And since this is the time and there are no leagues, that's why he's playing.
There is a league going on. CPL is going on.
No, but he's not signed for CPL.
So he's not signed. I think he'll be available now then for the BBL after the World Cup.
Yeah.
That would most likely be very
Melbourne
good.
Stars.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
Akash Bharat, we'll end with this. In future, do you guys see roof-like stadiums? No way.
I think it would be too much of an expense
Too much
for a lot of teams.
No, and upgrading an infrastructure and everything takes a whole lot of time. Cricket has been played so much.
Yeah,
That's why
Yeah.
you won't have the time.
exactly.
You won't have the time, and then if they do it, the ticket prices will go up and all that.
Yeah, and all that. And it makes it very artificial, Akash. I mean, you don't want to have playing in an artificial kind of a. I mean, can football be in an indoor kind of a thing?
Well, it's starting to happen.
The
latest stadium that everyone's talking about is the Bernabeu, and that has a roof now.
Santiago Bernabeu has a roof.
Yes.
The Bernabeu is going to be rebuilt.
It
We'll have
not
to-
just has a
my God.
retractable roof, it's got retractable pitches.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, retractable pitches is nothing new. I mean, to be fair, you've got multi-purpose stadiums as well, so that's really a thing.
But then, apart from football, any other sport is played at Santiago Bernabeu? I mean,
No, but I mean, like if you look at, say, for instance, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which is in London, that is a stadium that is used not only for football, but they've also to boost the money, have hosted NFL games there as well.
Well, you had stadiums host weddings and all. You've seen that happen at multiple stadiums.
See, I can understand the reason for Australia and New Zealand having drop-in pitches because Eden
Multi-sports.
Park, yeah, Eden Park hosts
Yeah.
rugby also. Australia, even Adelaide,
Adelaide.
NFL, Melbourne.
Yeah.
Even
hosts NFL.
Melbourne also hosts NFL, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. Yeah, not in AFL.
AFL, the Aussie League.
Aussie Football League.
Yes, anyway, we'll take your leave for now, guys, because truth be told, we could keep going, but really,
Okay. We can't just
Oh.
take a leave yet. Big update coming from Colombo. The covers have started to come off.
oh yes.
That should sound music to your ears, and that means the conversation here continues.
But that will take another, I think, 40
See, the
minutes.
covers will come off and the ground staff will begin the mopping operations. So, if they begin it now and if everything is fine, I think we could potentially. be
Let's in
looking at
fact
a
pull out those
7 PM
images
start.
for you. You know, the covers have been on for good 55 minutes now.
Yes.
But you're going to be losing
Looking
overs.
at those patches, if you can look at those patches, it clearly is a strong indicator that even if the covers are to start coming off as we speak, it will take a good 40-minute job for those 50-60 odd men out there to dry up the surface.
Yeah, one particular patch over there, they are removing
Exactly.
it.
The downpour was so heavy that it will easily take the entire strength and might of those groundsmen to be able to dry up this
Best
in
case
Colombo.
scenario. Best case scenario if the
6:45.
No, I think 7:15. 7:15 is your best
So
case
that
scenario.
would be another hour and about 20 minutes from
Because
where
to
we are
remove
right
the
now.
covers, it will take another 20 to 25 minutes easily.
True.
To mop up the entire thing, then you'll have an inspection and then.
I think we're going to be.
7:15
we're gonna wait
and
is
wait.
your best case scenario for a start, unless the ground underneath is not so wet. Then I think what Shane's time was 6:45.
4:45, yeah.
Maybe at that time.
But those patches, the way that they were looking, it's going
That
to be
is
a
the
problem.
problem.
And if there's a slight slip up with the taking off the covers, and if there's water going down the wrong way, then
Yes.
that could be a big problem
Because
as well.
every 4 minutes you will start losing.
1 over. Yeah.
Every 4 minutes, 1 over will reduce. I think from 5 or 6:10 onwards.
Yeah, that would roughly have been about 1 hour and 10 minutes
Correct.
since the downpour began.
Yep. So that is why you will start losing overs at that time. And then looking at the mopping up and everything of that kind, you're looking at a 7 to 7:15 p.m. restart if everything is in order.
If.
But the cutoff time for a T20 match is 10:30 by my estimates. Palakela it was 10:27.
27, yeah.
And in the Nepal game it was extended to 10:32 by the way. So 10:30, 10:35 is your cutoff time for a T20 match. But if you are a T20 match, then it's advantage India. Because I don't see Pakistan going at a T20 pace with the batting lineup that they have. So that
is true. I mean, with them, their style of play in ODIs is stuck in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yep.
So
that's the thing.
But today we know for sure, because you're going to be looking at a different match situation altogether. Even if, let's say, the game is to go, let's say, the maximum distance that it possibly can from now, Pakistan will have to change their approach. They cannot walk in feeling that they have all the time to settle down, because today you are looking at a high score.
And remember, people will now be asking, if it's a 20 over game, if Pakistan batted 5 overs, is it a match? No, it's not a T20 match. If you play full 20 overs, then and only then in an ODI, it's a match. 20 overs, that is the key. 20 overs. So now we are starting to see some activity. Yep, so that is the situation that we are seeing. I think Dex is saying stadiums with roofs are necessity in cricket like they have for baseball in America. Sky Dome, Chase Field, Mets ballpark, but again, stadiums and roof. I'm not a big fan of it.
I mean, see, it is a possibility because it doesn't really create an artificial environment, because if there's not rain, of course, the roofs are going to be open. But I don't know, maybe it could be done as a way of precaution. I don't know, stop play, but have the roof covered so that there's no, ground damage.
See, I can understand for tennis. Tennis, it's just one strip that they are playing on.
Also, doesn't matter how high the ball goes. In cricket, it does. You really cannot ascertain at all times as to how high the ball will be hit.
Exactly. So that's why, in the case of tennis, I can understand the roof, because see, it's an individual sport. It's if you compare it to a cricket ground, it's not that big. So having a roof for that and ensuring that not much of problems happen, I can understand. For cricket, with so many dynamics, I don't think a roof is the situation. So a lot of activity going on. So we can see.
You can see the covers are being slowly but surely start.
So from the square, we can tell you, square of the pitch, it does appear that a cover each on either side has
short
been
cover
taken
and short mid wicket. Those covers have been removed, but they are doing it slowly. And now the the straight covers are.
The straight covers are also coming off now. So positive signs coming from Colombo. Having said that, you will have to wait to see resumption of play.
Oh, it's going to be a while still.
It is going to be a while.
Yeah.
Remember, there's still so much to happen. Of course, you're going to be first looking at the entire ground. The covers come off the entire ground. Then at some point there will be an inspection also. Once that also, by the way, will happen after the groundsmen get into the act of drying up the surface. Once it is conveyed to the umpires that okay, the ground's been dried up to an extent that you can, let's say, look at play resuming in about 15-20 minutes, then there'll be an inspection also. That inspection, after that happens, the message will then be conveyed to the two captains as to how long it will take for play to resume. So still a multi-tier process in the offing as we speak. Having said that, 6:45, 6:50 looks like the time you can look at play resuming.
I think that's
It
the
could
earliest.
Yeah.
Go up to, it could go up to 7:15 as well.
And apart from those puddles as well, there were some patches that were left that were not covered in time. Remember, Nikhil had joined us, but
Yes.
there were still some patches that were left to be covered, and it was pouring. So I
Yeah.
think those parts are also going to take up a lot of time.
Yep. So now the wet outfield, the rain has stopped. There is no rain, and I think we might have had the worst of the rain behind us. But wet outfield. Now that is the major challenge now. Wet outfield.
But look at the clouds, dude.
Yeah, it's
still-
still,
it's
it
still not a
still
good
doesn't
sign.
look good.
Yeah. But I think they would have gotten some intel that okay, maybe you can start removing the covers because I think there might not be much of
Intel
rain
from who?
from the locals there.
The ground staff
Yeah,
know how
the ground staff.
No, I mean, yeah, I was trying to make a joke.
Oops, that didn't work.
Like
Just
God
like our
calling,
rain
it's not going to be.
Didn't work. It worked just as much, let's say, as the
Rain
Pathan
predictions.
speedsters did at the
Oh,
start.
but wait, they are adding those covers back.
Are they?
Oh,
Look at
ooh.
that one patch. Remember, the short mid wicket or that was covered
Taken
for a
off.
bit, isn't it?
I think they must be adding 2 layers. What's going on?
Look, you remember that one patch was covered,
Yeah.
but they're again they removed it, but they're covering it back. So I don't know. And Nikhil has joined us back, and Nikhil. So the covers are coming off, and what will be the next?
No. The next latest update is that the rain has returned.
The
So
rain has returned.
the covers were coming off. The covers were coming off, but now the rain has come back. So they're going to be putting the covers back on. It's not heavy rain. It's a slight drizzle, but it's coming back. So they're going to be putting the covers back on. So not great news.
Not great news. And here we go. We are back to square one yet again. Because we had thought that maybe when the covers were been removed, short mid wicket and short cover, the covers were removed, we thought maybe a faint chance that play could resume in the next hour and a half. But now the covers are coming back on with the steady rain. We are
And
in
it's-
for a
and it's-
longer delay.
And it's funny that I was just about to say that what if, it happens like Palakele, that they're taking off the covers and then rain starts
But that's exactly what
pouring
happened.
again, and it
That's
happened and
what's
accidentally
happened.
manifested it.
Nikhil, have you, since we were, as we had planned, but nothing, not much, let's say, seemed to work the way we planned on the eve of an India-Pakistan match. Any word from Sunny ji? Because had things gone as per plan, he would have been live with us. Have you been managed to speak with him, what he felt as far as these 24.1 overs are concerned?
Him, 24.5. No, I haven't. No, I haven't had any contact with him. No. Usually, I only speak to him on air, and then that on air conversation would only happen once we go live, and there's no chance that there would have been any sort of live now with the rain coming in. So no conversation with him.
Well, that is a very, very bad situation now because the rain, if it's back again, you're again going to get the covers back on. Again, you'll have to wait for the rain to stop. Again, the mopping up operations, and mostly by 6:10 onwards, you'll start losing overs. That is the situation that we are, because all the grace period, if you even take into account the shortening of the innings break and all that if you take into account from 6:10 onwards, you'll start losing overs. So we are now reaching that zone now. And is there any discussion about the playing conditions, Nikhil, at this time? I mean, any or hope? What are the ACC officials saying?
None of that will happen now, because for that to happen, I mean, covers have to come off, rain has to stop. If none of that is happening, there is no chance any playing condition, nothing. So because playing condition discussions only come when you have an idea how much time you have left. Right now, we have no idea whether we have 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. We don't know how many hours are left. So I think it's already reducing, which means, as I keep saying, that the horizon looks clear to me, but the cloud cover that's hanging over the ground is just not refusing. It's just refusing to move. So, which is why you are having that persistent drizzle.
Yep,
But on the horizon, on all sides, you can see clear sky. It will stop. It will stop at some point. I think so. I don't think it should be on for very long. It will stop, but when, how, we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we can see more covers being coming on, and if there is no wind, then there is a problem. It will stay on and it will continue to rain down at this time. It's like Chinnaswamy. If there's no wind, if it stays at the Chinnaswamy, it will continue to pour. But the Chinnaswamy, at least 15 minutes. You just need 15 minutes for the ground to get ready. That's the thing. So, more covers being bought on in.
It's not a good side by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, it isn't. People were saying, why don't wear blue? Blue might probably remind them of that. That is the thing. Those ground stuff covers, yeah. This whole.
Are we taking turns in terms of cracking bad jokes here?
Of course.
I think the rain is making us all lose our minds.
Yeah.
In no world will I look at the color blue and think
Oh.
the covers are on.
Think tarpaulin.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, rain. I mean, I'm really.
Talking about the color blue. Out of all the days today, Siddharth has chosen to wear
Yeah.
green.
Green.
He's a brave man, is what he is.
We are reading too much into all these color schemes here.
No,
You
no,
just
no,
said
no.
blue is equal to tarpaulin.
Covering an outfit, but
I don't
this
think
kind
we are. I don't think we are reading too much into it. I'll tell you what. I've been here for a long time. I only got limited clothes. I'm only left with two clean pair of tops, whether there's a shirt or a t-shirt. So I did not want to wear a shirt because you know how muggy and hot it is. I wanted to wear a t-shirt, and the only clean t-shirt I had left was a green colored t-shirt. And I was like, today, if I was to wear green, I want to get throwers. So I left that green t-shirt and I wore a blue shirt instead, despite it being hot in London.
well.
So, but as I said,
Useful.
I'm not as brave as Siddharth is. So.
See, I either had a green or I had an orange.
Orange would have actually been.
It was. I needed more logistical problems in that. Yeah. Of all the days I had to do my laundry, it had to happen yesterday, and with the rain here, no time to drive, my friend.
Otherwise, you'd have been wearing yellow.
Yes. The absolute
Of
neutral
all,
color.
what about 5-6 yellows that you have? Yeah.
7.
I have 6
7.
shades of yellow.
And which is the most favorite?
The lime one. The lime yellow.
The brightest one.
Yes, the brightest one. The most neutral of all colors in these kind of contests.
Yellow
these
is
kind
not
of
neutral.
These kind of contests. In these kind of
Acha,
contests.
okay, yeah. In that way, yes.
Asterisk is there. No?
Yeah, in these kind of contests. If Australia India, if I wear yellow, then you can accuse me of biasness. But no way.
Today?
Today, no. You're reading too much into the color scheme, I'm telling you. Green.
No, we know. You're not on either side. You're with Sri Lanka, right?
Yes.
And New
And they wear blue. Yet
So
I
that
can't
day, what
wear-
will you wear?
I don't know. See, for me, my biggest nightmare is November 9th. Who do I support? New Zealand or Sri Lanka? One is a sentimental favorite, the other is a practical favorite. What do I do? That's the only game I'm dreading.
You can get a customized t-shirt, jersey,
Half
half New
Sri
Zealand,
Lanka,
half
half-
Sri Lanka. Bas.
That's a good
all.
suggestion.
Yeah, I need some good news from the New Zealand team here. Already they spoilt my mood with the Rugby World Cup.
Rugby
show.
World Cup.
Still can't get over it. Still can't. So, yep.
It's a bad situation though. When I think it's because we're reaching the territory now where overs are going to be lost.
Yes, yes. You have reached that territory now where you will start losing overs. And let me reiterate again, if you cannot get any further play today, it will resume from 24.1 tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you do get play, I mean, even if you bowl one ball, if it's a 35 or a 30 over game, and you cannot get any further play, even if you have bowled one ball, the game will resume from 24.1. It will be a 30 over contest or 35 over contest, whatever is the cutoff time in that sense. So that's the way the situation is. If you do not get any more play, you'll have 25.5 overs bowled tomorrow. And
So yeah, be careful with what you pray for, because if you pray for the rain to return again, having a ball today, you're not going to get 50 overs. If you pray for the rain to continue lashing as it's been over the last 1 hour, only then you can look at there being a 50 over
full
match.
50 over match.
And then again you'll have to wake up again tomorrow and pray that there is no rain tomorrow, because there is no reserve day to a reserve day.
And not just that, tomorrow the rain forecast is even worse than today.
Exactly.
Yes. And remember, if it happens tomorrow, the game, India are going to play back-to-back ODIs. You'll play in India Sri Lanka on 12th.
Dex is asking about Michael Ballack. Of course, Shane, my dear
I
friend,
know
will
Michael
obviously
Ballack.
remember.
I
Yes.
mean, I remember him for losing his school with a Norwegian referee in that Chelsea versus Barcelona match.
Over
The
there, bro.
famous match in 2009, if I'm not wrong.
5 to 6.
Brave
cast-
referee that, by the way.
5 to 6 cast.
6, I think.
Brave.
5 or 6, yeah. 5 or 6.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. So please, there's no discussion about the color scheme and all. It's an individual choice. So yep. I had only green today, my friends. I didn't have yellow.
Green today.
I didn't have yellow. What a day to do my laundry, unfortunately.
But Nikhil, what else has been happening over there? We saw very recently you did go to the Ministry of Crab. Anything? What were you doing last evening besides the ground report that we all saw? If you can update us all.
Yesterday was a practice session. No? The Pakistan team had a practice session. The Indian team had a practice session. We're pretty much doing that. Then we covered the practice session, the two pressers of both teams, and then after that did a full preview, both in Hindi and English for Sportswear Sports Stuff. Yesterday was pretty much that. But there will be no gap now. I think the next gap India might get is for the last game, which is on the 15th. So 12th, there's a gap. What I can do is go and check out Jawan, which is playing very close to my hotel in a mall. So it'd be an interesting, sort of an experience to watch a Hindi film in Colombo with a few Sri Lankans. So yeah, that'd be interesting. Maybe I'd go check out Jawan, maybe vlog about that as well on Sports Today. If more people say yes on the chat, then maybe I'll do it.
Hey guys, let us know in the comments. Yes or no? Just
Yep.
say yes, it's okay.
Yes.
By the way, also, and I'm just an update. I remember reading somewhere that the grace period for today would be 90 minutes, and there seems to be a confirmation because you're going to be losing overs not from now, but from 6:22.
Oh,
Exactly.
So we've
then you're
already
looking
lost.
at- So
Oh, by the way,
no,
just
not
update from here. Rain has stopped. And they will now in some time start removing the covers. So the rain is stopped again.
Perfect.
So effectively,
6:22. Yeah.
You're 11 minutes away.
Yep. You'll start losing overs 11 minutes from now.
so effectively you would have lost what 20 minutes of play. I'm saying 20-25. If you were to count from that point after the 90 minutes are done, I'm giving another 20 minutes for play to resume. Let's say 20
Pretty
minutes.
No, 20 minutes. Give a minimum of 1 hour.
1 hour.
Exactly.
Minimum, I'm saying. Minimum of an hour. It could be more than that.
That would be
Minimum
15
of an hour.
So, see, this is the protocol now. The
Yeah,
rain has
that-
stopped.
yeah.
They will take the covers off. It will take them at least 20 to 25 minutes to take the covers off. Then the mopping up operations and then the inspection and
Yes.
everything.
So,
mostly you're
yeah.
looking at a 7:30, 7:45 start.
7:30. Yeah,
Ideally.
optimistic. Yeah, optimistic side 7:30.
7:30, 7:45 means you lost about 1 hour and 15 minutes.
10
of-
minutes.
That means divided by 4, 75 minutes divided by 4, you lost close to
12 overs.
19 overs.
Yeah.
That means technically, if you look at it, if you want to start the game at 8,
So 38
Pakistan
overs.
would
Full
have
batting.
No,
26,
it will be about
28 overs.
42 overs aside. I think 42 overs aside or something like that. If it starts at that time.
8 o'clock onwards.
42. No, if it was to start at, let's say,
7:30.
yeah, I mean, 7:45, 7:35, 7:45, 42 overs, 41, 40, something like that per side. I think that's what you're looking at.
Okay, because if it's 42, then that means every over lost after 6 minutes. That might be the thing, because we are losing about 75 minutes of play after 6:22. Technically, if you look at it, we start at 7:45.
Yeah, so 75 divided by 4, how much would that be?
That would be
Nine-
close to 19
19,
overs.
close to
lost.
19. So you're looking at
31 overs.
9 overs aside.
Oh, 39 overs.
Yeah.
31 overs.
So-
It will be 31 overs.
9 over a side will be 41 then. 41
So
aside,
you're
that's what I'm
per
saying.
9 overs aside.
not on one innings.
Not 18 per innings, no. You're looking at 9
Overall.
aside. If overall
Yeah.
you're looking at 18 overs we
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying, about 41 or so.
That won't be too bad actually.
40
Yeah.
overs. Wow, that will be good.
Yeah.
Indeed, it will be good. Anything to avoid going into the reserve day, which will then trigger off, which will trigger off a lot of unfair things. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it will set the ball rolling all over again.
Opens up a big
So right now,
I was just about to say.
they've just removed one cover, and that cover that they've removed is from the spot where I had put a picture on Twitter on X. You saw that river? That's exactly the spot they've removed, the only spot they've removed. And what they're doing is now doing that mopping up, drying those foam. You use foam to suck the
Yeah.
water out. You're using foam to get that off. So that's what they're doing right now.
So that one patch, that will be the thing. So, well, if it's 7:45 p.m. start, 41 overs per side. Wow. We're in for a long day then.
Look at the bright side. We'll be able to cover
Bright
Djokovic.
side.
Yeah, the bright side will be we'll cover Djokovic, Medvedev also from officer. Right?
Good, of course. Yep, Djokovic versus Medvedev today in the US Open men's final. Djokovic gunning for a historic 24th.
And Medvedev gunning for a historic second.
Who's everyone betting on?
I'm betting on Djokovic.
Think it's happening, yeah. Number 24 today.
I'm backing Medvedev.
Just playing spoil.
Yes.
Just playing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he did deny the calendar Grand Slam though in 21.
In 21.
Exactly.
I think it can happen. Djokovic.
For
Final.
practical purposes, Shane, if you
Practical
want to play
purposes-
party pooper,
No, practical purposes, Djokovic is of course starting favorite.
Yeah.
Come on, let's not kid ourselves.
Yep. So more covers are coming out and
Yes,
And
as
yeah,
I said, and now
that's
the
a
broadcaster
bad
is also
one.
confirming 6:22 p.m. onwards,
Next
local
7
and
minutes,
local and Indian time because it's the same. You're going to start losing over. So I was right. 1.5 hours, 90 minutes is
Nine.
we do see those visuals now, Nikhil, that you were talking about.
Sponges.
That patch you were speaking of. We see several, these big pads and sponges being brought on the field, and of course, an attempt being made to, soak in the water and.
But that's gonna take a long time.
long time.
Yeah, they should get the
That
irons
is
out.
that is soaked.
They should get the irons out.
Or you could get the coal, burn. No, that is an effective. That is very effective.
Still funny.
Not looking good. That patch there is not looking good at all.
It's making things look patchy.
Very much, very much, very much. So in all likelihood,
I'm the only one left to crack a bad one. now.
No, let me. The match has run into a rough patch.
you vote. Vote which is the worst joke that has been cracked.
I think we need a
I think
break
Gargi
now.
tops it, Shane is second, and I'm third. Exactly. So that's the zero. But yeah, if there is no further rain, we are likely going to have most likely what? Guaranteed now.
Overs reduction. Yeah, 100%.
Guaranteed a shortened.
You're 5 minutes away from starting to lose overs. So
Yeah.
And
I
you're
don't-
about good 45 minutes away.
An
to
hour.
1 hour
An hour.
away.
An hour.
From the match starting,
from
yeah.
Minimum an hour.
Yeah.
As Nikhil also pointed out, minimum 1 hour. So, oof.
Yeah, more than that likely. Again, I'm just hazarding a guess.
Yeah.
But should be more than an hour, maybe hour and a half. Seems more realistic to me.
Yep. Oh boy, that's pretty sad. So, unlike Palakele, where rain washed out the entire game, half of the game, which we saw no result here, we're gonna have a shortened game and pray no further rain. If not, tomorrow it is
Not reserved day welcome.
Yeah, reserve day. welcome.
Any players though, Nikhil, you've been able to see loiter around since rain stopped? Anyone from the management perhaps? Other players, have they left the dressing room? Anyone's come out for a stroll or something like that?
No, Harshit, very tough to move out of the press box and really find out what the players are doing. But nobody is out, and they can't be going out. There's a crowd there. Stadium is packed, so they never leave the dressing room. What I can tell you that when the Indian team was batting, there were a few Indian players, that namely Akshar Patel and Mohammad Shami, that went down to the outdoor nets here. There are these outdoor nets. Yeah, there are these outdoor nets where they headed to, and they were just practicing there. That's what they were doing, practicing at the outdoor nets. But those are the two guys that are not playing, so that's exactly what they do, right? Practice.
I just don't understand. If suppose you wanted to, your main priority was to finish the game today, why wouldn't you go by normal convention and start reducing overs after 1 hour and 10 minutes?
Because they want to give as much time as possible.
Exactly.
The fact that
Yeah,
you've reduced, you've put in a reserve day only for this match
For
tells
this
you that
match.
every grace period ever will be given to it.
Yeah.
Was I not telling you yesterday that perhaps let's just take a screen grab because things could change?
Yeah, exactly.
Heights of blatant favoritism. Yeah, I can understand shadow favoritism and maybe covert favoritism. If there are some
This is overt.
This is blatant, absolutely blatant, and so much of rule bending. So much. I mean, give the final to India and Pakistan. Yeah. Give it to them instead of having such a blatant thing. Give the final to them.
Like they say, कोशिश तो कर रहे हैं ना.
नहीं कर रहे हैं. They may still fail. And who will make them fail?
Sri Lanka.
The Indian team. They will hit the nail on their own foot. That's how the Indian team is in this era. Now, man, this is unbelievable, man. This is simply unbelievable. I mean,
That's why you've had the extended grace period, no? Of course. They want to give every chance possible
As
to
many
ensure.
overs as possible. Yeah.
sorry, boss.
And it's a Sunday. Who doesn't want to cash in on a Sunday?
Because you'll spill over onto a Monday. Imagine that.
Anyway, I think we can take your leave for
Yeah.
now, though.
Yeah, I want to go.
Been
out
a
and
long time.
Went? I want
Siddharth
something to eat.
needs a coffee, a drink.
No, he doesn't have coffee.
Yeah, like he needs something to
I
drink.
need something
a
else.
carbonated drink.
He needs a carbonated drink, yes. But what it is, we can't tell you.
We can't.
Yeah,
Anyhow.
we're not sponsored, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
give us the
that-
money, we plug it.
we'll be back when we have a clear-cut update on how many overs have been lost, what is the start and resumption time, and whether we are going to have any further play.
Unless it starts raining again.
She said it. She said it.
No, you jinx it when you say this shouldn't be, we'll be back at mid
Like how
innings.
Mohit did it here, right?
That's the jinx.
Doesn't matter.
If I
Anyway.
say it's going to rain, maybe it won't.
It could. It
Reverse
could.
jinx.
All right, folks. See you in a bit. We are still, as
Hanging tight.
lot of time away. There's still plenty of time for the restart. So bye bye. See you from all of us.